Geometry of the Unseen, Hooke's Micrographia. The following script is based upon the book titled Micrographia, authored by Robert Hooke and first published in the year 1665. Chapter 1. The Fallible Eye. The inherent infirmity of human memory and fragile sense leaves the physical world obscured in deep shadows. A catastrophic fall from grace has left mortal eyes perpetually clouded and incapable of discerning the truth. This ancient degradation distorts the true surface of things, making chaotic matter appear perfectly smooth. Unseen jagged edges and profound irregularities are masked by a comforting but entirely fabricated illusion. The unaided senses continuously fail to map the actual mechanical reality existing just beyond their reach. Such a fundamental weakness necessitates a mechanical intervention to reclaim the lost and forgotten knowledge. An intricate instrument constructed of polished glass and cold brass emerges to shatter biological limits. This magnificent engine acts as a supreme artificial eye, designed to repair the fractured vision of humanity. It manipulates pure light through specialized oil flame lamps and heavy glass globes brimming with clear water. By bending the illuminating rays, the device masterfully concentrates lucid corpuscles onto the smallest targets. A microscopic realm, previously hidden from all mortal observers, is violently dragged into the brilliant light. The crystalline lens pierces the veil of the invisible, revealing the stark and terrifying reality of matter. Beneath this unyielding gaze, the sharpest man-made object undergoes a sudden and devastating transformation. The polished point of a steel needle loses its assumed singularity when subjected to relentless magnification. Instead of a pristine tip, the metallic extremity reveals a broad, blunt, and wildly irregular landscape. This hardened steel surface is utterly compromised by gaping holes, deep pits, and violent jagged scratches. Its damaged and fractured appearance strongly resembles a rough piece pulled straight from a fiery smith's forge. These monumental irregularities create a terrifying terrain of abyssal valleys and towering metallic ridges. The sheer scale of these microscopic canyons defies the mundane logic previously applied to the physical universe. Within these massive structural ravines, 1,000 independent needle points could easily remain concealed. The supreme achievement of human precision is unmasked as a lasting monument to inherent physical imperfection. This profound lack of structural integrity extends beyond metal tools directly into the realm of human thought. The unrelenting optical scrutiny then shifts toward the geometry of written language and the printed black period. To the unaided human eye, this basic punctuation mark appears as a flawlessly pristine circle of solid, dark ink. It masquerades as a precise mathematical boundary, concluding complex human thoughts with geometric certainty. Yet, under the merciless engine, this comfortable illusion shatters into a chaotic splatter of charcoal and oil. The outer edges of the printed dot lack any true circularity, sprawling outward like a broken fluid stain. True mathematical grace is entirely absent from this clumsy amalgamation of crushed paper fibers and pigment. The dark ink bleeding into the porous paper creates a ragged and disorganized coastline of dried, viscous fluid. Every desperate attempt at artificial perfection crumbles when forced to confront the truth of the compound lens. The most refined creations of civilization are exposed as crude and deeply flawed approximations of physical form. This stark optical realization confirms that all human craftsmanship inevitably descends into a failure of scale. The intricate microscopic mechanisms crafted by mortal hands dissolve into coarse fragments and unrefined textures. Artificial objects simply cannot sustain their structural integrity when subjected to such extreme isolation. The stark juxtaposition between human failing and physical reality paves the way for a revolutionary philosophy. Contrastingly, the deeply hidden architecture of the natural world demands an infinitely closer inspection. The raw, untouched work of nature distinguishes itself completely, growing far more exquisite under magnification. Where human effort yields only chaotic ruin, the fundamental fabric of organic existence reveals a hidden order. This invisible wilderness holds the true geometric secrets that perpetually evade the most skilled human artisans. Abandoning the blunt instruments of mankind becomes absolutely essential to understanding the mechanics of reality. The magnificent glass engine now stands ready to boldly map the unseen abysses and microscopic peaks of creation. An entirely new dimension of infinite existence beckons from within the shadows of the seemingly ordinary world. The profound structural beauty of wild nature remains patiently waiting to be drawn directly into the sharp light. The rigorous scientific investigation must turn toward the secret geometric order lying dormant within dead matter, a journey into the flawless architecture of the universe begins exactly where limited human capability terminates. Chapter 2: The Frozen Architecture. The exploration of this seemingly inanimate realm reveals a profound and hidden order. Within the deepest shadows of dead matter, an intricate geometric perfection quietly dictates the shape of existence. The unaided eye perceives only chaotic and jagged crystalline shards across the vast surfaces of frozen landscapes. Yet beneath the revealing lens of the optical engine, the true mathematical elegance of the mineral modulation of atmospheric water transforms formless vapor into beautifully structured small stars. These brilliant, flaky silver constructs descend from the highest regions of the frozen and turbulent atmosphere. Each descending fragment of winter frost carries an incredibly precise and repeating symmetrical configuration. Every individual arm of these celestial icy formations branches outward at exactly 60 degrees of separation. The angles never deviate from this rigid microscopic blueprint, regardless of the chaotic winds swirling around them. Such exquisite six-pointed symmetry transforms simple frost into definitive manuals of geometry written by cold. This rigid structural symmetry suggests a profound plastic virtue inherent within the very substance of water. As the fluid particles fix into a solid state, their internal schematism perfectly reflects a hidden mathematics. Nature spontaneously builds these flawless crystalline architectures without the clumsy intervention of human tools. This spontaneous self-assembly extends far beyond the delicate freezing of atmospheric water into harsh fire. The harsh collision between steel and flint violently generates momentary flashes of brilliant and intense light. Magnification reveals these fleeting sparks are not merely light, but spherical globes of glowing molten metal. The sheer violence of the sudden metallic strike leaves these tiny ejected fragments completely vitrified by heat. Suspended in the cold air, they are instantly frozen mid-flight into perfectly uniform and solid spherical orbs. This stunning transformation proves that even extreme mechanical destruction yields objects of absolute geometry. The molten iron forcefully torn from the metal block obeys the exact same physical rules as the delicate snow. The optical engine then turns its penetrating gaze towards the crystalline schematism of hard diamonds in flints. Unlike the crude shaping of human hands, the natural world continuously constructs its foundations from the bottom up. Invisible streams of subtle effluvia slowly stack infinitesimal particles into perfectly repeating crystalline forms. These methodical mineral deposits manifest as breathtaking translucent pyramids and flawless geometric cubes. The sharp and crystalline boundaries of these salt formations completely dwarf the jagged ruin of the forged needle. Such a methodical arrangement of invisible matter demonstrates the fundamental architectural principles of the earth. Every single translucent block is a profound microscopic testament to an organized and highly structured universe. Such relentless crystallization processes eventually lead to the grim observation of ancient petrified wood. In this agonizing temporal transformation, living organic matter is systematically replaced entirely by dense stone. The invading minerals completely colonize the decaying plant tissue by meticulously swapping it out cell for cell. This petrifaction captures the delicate porosity of the once vibrant organism within an eternal mineral embrace. The ghost of the biological structure is perfectly preserved forever inside a dark tomb of indestructible mineral. Every intricate microscopic channel that once carried life-giving sap is now utterly flooded with hardened silica. The once flexible and porous material is forever locked into an unyielding and completely petrified state of being. This stony fossil bridges the immense gap between the active world of life and the silent realm of dead minerals. It proves that the invisible geometry of the earth can seamlessly interface with the complex architecture of life. The lifeless geometric perfection found within the snow and stone represents only the very beginning of the inquiry. The startling discovery that even seemingly dead matter possesses a secret life of geometry demands further pursuit. The absolute precision of the frozen inanimate world heavily implies an even grander design within living entities. If cold water and violently struck steel construct perfect spheres and branching stars, then life must hold wonders. This profound realization forces the investigative lens to shift its focus toward the vibrant green botanical world. The living breath of the mysterious plant kingdom waits patiently to expose its own hidden mechanical schematism. The magnificent engine must now penetrate the soft outer layers of flora to witness the very fabric of organic life. The rigid boundaries of the crystallized earth fall away to reveal the pulsating and deeply porous structures of wood. Chapter 3: The Fabric of Life. The examination of biological material uncovers the porous and mechanical foundation of the organic. A thin slice of dried cork is separated from the bark using a sharpened razor, possessing the edge of a fine penknife. Beneath the luminous lens of the optical engine, this seemingly solid botanical fragment exposes a complex schematism. The barren wood is absolutely devoid of solid mass, defined entirely by an infinite company of microscopic hollow boxes. These exceedingly small and porous cavities are tightly arranged in a remarkably precise texture, resembling a honeycomb. The regular interstitial spaces mimic the quiet and solitary rooms of a monastery, earning them the designation of cells. These delicate microscopic chambers are not very deep, yet they are separated by incredibly thin and translucent walls. Mathematical deduction reveals that a single cubic inch of this humble material contains 1,200 million such pores. This staggering micrographical reality perfectly explains the extraordinary physical lightness inherent to the dead cork. The sealed ambient air, trapped securely within each miniature room, functions as a powerful and resilient, invisible spring. When subjected to heavy external compression, the resilient botanical matrix instinctively recoils to its original shape. The internal porous texture of the substance completely dictates its subsequent mechanical behavior in the physical world. This revelation entirely dismantles the fragile illusion of solid matter, exposing a hidden architecture of empty spaces. The focused investigation moves deliberately from the dry remains of the cork toward the damp shadows of creeping moss. Common mold spreading across a decaying surface is instantly transformed into a towering and magnificent microforest. These verdant structures are never the accidental byproducts of simple rot, but highly organized engines of rapid growth. Every minuscule green filament possesses its own sturdy stalk, supporting the immense weight of swelling spherical seeds. The entire miniature landscape pulses with a fierce reproductive urgency, mirroring the colossal forests of the macrocosm. This abyssal depth of botanical complexity thrives completely unseen beneath the heavy infirmity of the naked human eye. The structural perfection discovered within these humble plants demonstrates a universe heavily governed by absolute design. Every fragile stem and translucent leaf operates as a flawlessly calibrated mechanical system, driven by pure natural law. This profound organic symmetry naturally shifts the observing gaze toward the defensive armaments deployed by living flora. The investigation demands a direct comparison between the brutal tools of human creation and the refined weapons of nature. The rugged and heavily scarred point of the forged iron needle is remembered as a blunt monument to clumsy craftsmanship. In stark contrast, the deadly sting of a common bee is positioned securely beneath the illuminating fire of the glass lens. This biological dagger is immediately revealed as a thoroughly diaphanous and perfectly tapered instrument of pure violence. Its menacing translucent surface remains incredibly smooth, completely devoid of the chaotic scratches found on milled steel. The natural polish applied to this venomous organic spear effortlessly defies the highest resolution of the powerful engine. No microscopic flaws or ragged edges interrupt the lethal geometric perfection of the tapering point as it narrows into nothing. The dark integument shielding the internal venom channel is constructed with a level of precision impossible for human hands. Such flawless anatomical engineering transforms a simple insect appendage into a terrifying masterpiece of functional design. The sheer lethality of the stinger relies entirely upon this fundamental absence of physical friction along its smooth shaft. It effortlessly penetrates the tough cellular walls of its unfortunate targets by utilizing a purely mechanical superiority. The brilliant illumination of the magnifying glass exposes the sharp serrations lining the edge of the venomous outer sheath. These microscopic barbs are angled with exact mathematical calculation to ensure the weapon remains anchored within the flesh. Every individual component of the stinging apparatus works in flawless harmony to deliver the caustic effluvia of its poison. The devastating efficiency of this microscopic mechanism emphasizes the brutal and unyielding laws governing the natural world. It becomes overwhelmingly clear that the living realm is constructed entirely from an infinite series of interlocking machines. The soft and seemingly vulnerable tissues of plants and insects hide an unyielding armature of rigid mathematical calculation. From the buoyant chambers of dried wood to the poisoned tip of an insect blade, the schematism of life is relentlessly logical. The realization that living tissues are bound by these strict mechanical principles permanently alters the perception of nature. The structural perfection evident within the simplest botanical growths reveals a startling world thoroughly governed by design. This undeniable evidence of complex biological engineering effortlessly directs the seeking eye toward even darker mysteries. The intricate and flawless mechanics of the plant kingdom pale in comparison to the horrifying vitality of creeping arthropods. The intense magnification must now confront the terrifyingly complex and heavily armored machines dominating the insect realm. Chapter 4: The Armored Beasts. This terrifying optical confrontation begins with the intricate and startling examination of the common grey dronefly. The optical engine carefully isolates the massive cranial structure of the common grey dronefly for rigorous visual analysis. The colossal head of this creature is completely dominated by two visual hemispheres. Closer inspection reveals that each massive eye is actually a rigid lattice formed by thousands of tiny luminous pearls. The diligent observer calculates the presence of exactly 7,000 of these flawless pearls within a single isolated eye. Every single microscopic pearl functions perfectly as an independent cornea or precisely shaped biological lens for the insect. Concealed securely behind every translucent lens lies a deep pyramidal structure channeling light into the optic nerve. This multiplicity of vision grants the beast the ability to effortlessly perceive in all physical directions at once. Such a vast optical network makes it nearly impossible to surprise the wary insect with a sudden physical hand or a fatal flap. The reflective metallic sheen of the immense visual hemisphere creates a truly mesmerizing optical illusion under the glass. The vivid color of this apparatus shifts rapidly, depending solely upon the specific angle of the illuminating source of light. Under the shifting lamp, the entire optical lattice transforms rapidly from a bright solid gold into a truly vivid green hue. Through magnification, utterly common pests are completely transformed into alien marvels of rigorous anatomical engineering. The focused gaze shifts to confront the astonishing and terrifying physical architecture of the extremely common leaping flea. Beneath the glass engine, this parasite is revealed as the most beautiful of creatures. The beast is encased within a polished suit of armor, composed of incredibly deep black and distinct reddish plates. These integuments display the lapidary hardness and beautifully bright solid polish of refined precious stones. This incredibly durable outer shell securely guards the delicate internal clockwork against violent crushing forces. Its resilient body represents a magnificent microscopic masterpiece of meticulously engineered and perfectly jointed mail. The creature maneuvers upon complex double-jointed legs that are precisely folded one within another, like a carpenter's rule. These folded appendages function as incredibly powerful mechanical springs designed for sudden and explosive physical propulsion. The mechanical strength of its leap enables the armored beast to effortlessly traverse 100 times its own bodily length. Its formidable head is heavily equipped with delicate prop-eared feelers and a truly terrifying piercing proboscis. This mouth is actually a complex arrangement of sharp needles, precisely engineered for both brutal suction and deep incision. The complex arrangement of sharply polished surgical instruments operates with a cruel and calculated mechanical precision. Using these terrifying biological tools, the relentless flea performs a gruesome microscopic surgery upon its helpless host. The bright focal point then illuminates the translucent and undeniably troublesome anatomy of the parasitic louse. Due to its diaphanous nature, the internal physiological mechanics of this creature are entirely visible to the silent watcher. Every internal contraction of the diminutive creature is illuminated and exposed to the unrelenting scrutiny of the lens. The rhythmic, peristaltic motion of its gut operates with the ceaseless efficiency of a finely tuned clockwork mechanism. The steady flow of blood through its veins ultimately exposes the louse as a fully functional and breathing transparent engine. The parasitic insect is no longer merely a biological nuisance, but a profoundly intricate machine of pure fluid dynamics. The illuminating light is then carefully cast upon the broad and seemingly powdery surface of the delicate wings of a moth. The fragile wing surface is suddenly exposed as an incredibly complex landscape, perfectly constructed from a sprawling forest. The fine dust upon the wing is completely revealed to be a magnificent field of delicate feathers. Each delicate feather is meticulously anchored into the thin, membranous foundation of the broad, vibrating wing. Every single plume is methodically arranged in an overlapping pattern, appearing exactly like protective shingles upon a roof. This geometric configuration flawlessly provides the fragile insect with essential physical protection and aerodynamic flight. The staggering mechanical complexity of these beasts suggests a universe where absolutely no singular detail is ever ignored. Total mechanical perfection permeates the microcosm, relentlessly expanding the mortal mind toward the boundless cosmic expanse. Chapter 5: The Celestial Mechanics. The relentless expansion of the mortal mind bridges the immense gulf between the microscopic and the vast cosmic expanse. Through the aligned glass lenses of the telescope, the luminous surface of the distant moon is finally brought near. The ethereal glow of the lunar sphere shatters, revealing a startlingly rugged and profoundly Earth-like landscape. Vast circular pits and dramatic vales scar the barren terrain, deeply edged with towering rims of jagged mountains. These colossal craters bear a striking visual resemblance to the tiny, violent bubbles formed within boiling alabaster. Similar chaotic formations emerge rapidly when thick oil is subjected to intense heat and left to violently erupt. The lunar skin was undeniably molten once, shaped violently by the continuous eruption of deep subterranean fires. Internal vapors burst through the cooling crust, leaving behind these massive hollows as the rock slowly congealed. This startling mechanical explanation strips the celestial body of its mythical aura and grounds it in geology. A burned piece of mundane charcoal shares the exact same fundamental geometry of heat and pressure as the distant moon. The microscopic pores of the blackened wood mirror the colossal craters, scarring the silent face of the lunar world. Both are born from the brutal mechanics of fire and cooling, linking a humble hearth to the silent orbital spheres. The investigation turns inevitably toward the fundamental nature of the very illumination that makes vision possible. Light itself is not a physical body traversing the vast emptiness, but a vibrating motion communicated through space. Like a taut string forcefully plucked, this luminous vibration travels rapidly through the homogeneous ether medium. The radiant energy propagates endlessly outward across the dark void as a continuous succession of energetic pulses. This short and vibrative motion perfectly connects the sudden spark of a struck flint to the blinding light of the sun. A wave theory of illumination explains precisely why light violently bends when shifting from thin air into thick glass. Refraction alters the path of the energetic pulse as it penetrates the diaphanous depths of dense water or crystal. The spectacular colors painted across a massive rainbow arise entirely from the structural interference of these waves. A thin plate of Muscovy glass shimmers brightly because the clashing luminous pulses combine in mathematical harmony. The geometry of the unseen governs the behavior of every radiant beam reflecting off a microscopic lens or a vast ocean. Turning the brass engine toward the deepest darkness of the night sky reveals the staggering presence of fixed stars. The overwhelming scale of the stellar canopy confirms the horrifying and beautiful truth of a truly boundless universe. The realm of the invisible extends infinitely in both directions, encompassing the impossibly small and the vastly huge. There is no fundamental separation between the complex mechanisms of a tiny insect and the grand celestial machineries. The same absolute laws of physical reality govern the rapid leap of a flea and the slow orbit of a planetary sphere. This total collapse of scale completely erases the imaginary boundary dividing the earthly realm from the starry heavens. Every observation points relentlessly toward a unified cosmos, functioning as a single, unimaginably complex machine. The careful geometry dictating the fragile shape of a frozen snowflake also aligns the distant burning constellations. The luminous pulses of starlight travel across unfathomable distances to strike the highly polished lens of the engine. Man's place within this infinite machinery must be completely reconciled through the unforgiving clarity of the lens. The fragile human mind is forced to accept its newly discovered position, suspended between two terrifying infinities. The profound depth of the night sky is no longer a divine mystery, but a mechanical puzzle waiting to be decoded. Through the careful manipulation of glass and brass, the structural secrets of the infinite cosmos are laid entirely bare. The vastness of space mirrors the microscopic depth, both reflecting an identical architecture of pure geometric order. The same rigid mathematics constructing the delicate wings of a moth also dictate the endless curvature of the galaxy. There is a deep, resonant harmony connecting the subterranean fires of the moon to the vital fluid dynamics of a louse. The entire universe stands revealed as an intricate, interlocking clockwork mechanism, entirely devoid of chaotic chance. The profound revelation of these interconnected mechanics forces a total reconstruction of mortal philosophy and science. The collapse of the boundary between the small and the large permanently reshapes the human understanding of existence. The terrifying majesty of the celestial mechanics mirrors the haunting perfection found deep within a tiny drop of water. Chapter 6: The Reformation of Knowledge. This profound intersection of scales demands an absolute rejection of traditional, unverified armchair philosophy. Ancient notions and dusty texts offer no valid sanctuary against the overwhelming evidence of the brass engine. The pursuit of ultimate truth requires the permanent abandonment of abstract conjecture for physical revelation. A sincere hand and a faithful eye must carefully work in perfect unison with the highly polished optical glass. This rigorous experimental philosophy provides the only reliable foundation for comprehending the natural world. Careful mechanical observation acts as a powerful, undeniable remedy for the inherent infirmities of the mind. Humanity can no longer rely upon the fragile limitations of unassisted vision or the failures of mortal memory. The fundamental architecture of reality must be painstakingly rebuilt upon the solid ground of empirical facts. Every newly observed schematism serves as a foundational stone in this monumental reconstruction of knowledge. The intricate resolution of matter demonstrates that independent biological phenomena do not actually exist. From the hard integument of a leaping flea to the vitreous, burning substance of a distant, shimmering star, every single visible component functions flawlessly within a single, vastly interconnected mechanical system. The silent effluvia rising from ordinary salt echo the dynamic forces shaping the deepest lunar depressions. The diaphanous sting of a common bee shares its structural perfection with the complex orbits of the planets. This unified machinery operates without pause, driven by the timeless geometry of the physical universe itself. The continuous application of the brass engine effectively births an entirely new world before the staring eye. This optical instrument functions as far more than a simple tool of passive observation or basic measurement. The complex arrangement of glass lenses has fundamentally added a completely new sensory organ to the human body. Such an extraordinary biological expansion forever alters the mortal perspective regarding the grand creation. Humanity no longer wanders blindly through a mysterious environment governed by unknowable, mystical forces. The chaotic darkness of ignorance retreats rapidly before the concentrated, lucid corpuscles of directed light. Countless microscopic pores reveal themselves as the indispensable interstitial spaces defining all dense matter. A delicate slice of buoyant cork transforms instantly into an infinite company of perfectly structured chambers. The slow petrifaction of ancient wood preserves this essential porosity within an indestructible mineral tomb. Every jagged scratch upon the blunt point of a steel needle serves as a harsh monument to human imperfection. The ink of a printed period splatters across the page without any trace of mathematical grace or true symmetry. Nature constructs her hidden domains from the very bottom up, stacking invisible particles into flawless shapes. The freezing congelation of falling water generates distinct six-pointed mathematical constructs of solid ice. Violent sparks struck from hardened steel freeze instantly in the air as perfect globes of vitrified material. An ordinary patch of green moss functions dynamically as a highly organized microforest with seeds and stalks. A transparent and troublesome louse operates silently as a living, breathing engine driven by fluid mechanics. Thousands of pearl-like lenses gather light seamlessly upon the complex hemispherical eye of a grey dronefly. Exquisite, miniature feathers layer flawlessly like protective shingles across the dusty wings of a common moth. This relentless journey inward inevitably shatters the long-held illusions regarding the hierarchy of existence. The microcosm directly reflects the terrifying majesty and precise order of the distant, overarching macrocosm. Human consciousness must rapidly adapt to its true position within this beautifully cold clockwork universe. The vast compendium of newly acquired facts forms an impenetrable bulwark against the darkness of superstition. Every mechanical observation captured by the lens solidifies the paramount importance of the faithful observer. The geometric truth of the unseen world is permanently established through the diligent application of the mind. The ultimate conclusion of this scientific quest brings a profound stillness to the deeply transformed intellect. The heavy brass tube of the engine is finally lowered, allowing the exhausted eye a moment of necessary rest. The closing of the illuminated lens does not return the diligent observer to the fearful darkness of the unseen. Instead, a radiant clarity remains firmly anchored within the newly expanded boundaries of human understanding. The intricate geometry of reality stands forever fully perceived in the piercing light of experimental truth.